I'm Lucy Commissar. I'm a journalist and co-chair of the Tax Justice Network USA, the American branch of a new international coalition founded to oppose massive tax evasion by corporations and the very rich. Hear what Joseph Stiglitz, Nobel laureate, said about this subject at a meeting in New York organized by TJN USA and his Initiative for Policy Dialogue. Professor Stiglitz is a former chief economist of the World Bank and former head of the U.S. Council of Economic Advisors under President Clinton. He now teaches at Columbia University.
If you believe, as I believe, the important role for government, if you have government, you have to be able to raise taxes. One of the reasons for lack of confidence in our tax system is a widespread perception that rich people avoid paying taxes. And one of the ways they avoid paying taxes is by keeping money in these tax shelters. Not only do they, in these tax havens. And it was so clear that the reason $500 billion is in the Cayman Islands is not because the Cayman Islands provides a better climate for banking than New York City. It's not like, you might be able to grow better sugarcane in the Cayman Islands, but not, why is it better for banks? And there's clearly only one reason why banking goes on in the Cayman Islands is because it is a place where people can avoid taxes, regulations of all kinds. And so the question is, why is it that we pass regulations to stop certain behavior, but we clearly condone or allow for these tax savings to continue? I've been very concerned for a very long time about these secret bank account havens, and argued that they're bad for the developing countries, bad for money laundering, drugs, corruption. They're bad in every dimension. And I occasionally, for reasons I don't fully understand, get invited to give talks in these places. I was at one of these tax secret havens, banks, and gave my lecture. And afterwards, a couple of the bankers came up to me a little bit sheepish and said, we're not as bad as you seem to think we are. We don't do bank secrecy for corruption, drugs, all these nefarious things that you've accused us of. We only do tax evasion. There was an initiative at the OECD to do something about bank secrecy. And that led to drawing up of a convention to reduce bank secrecy, which the Bush administration vetoed in August of 2001. In a way, the timing could not have been worse, because we all know what happened in September of 2001, and we discovered then that secret bank accounts are used not only for drugs, terrorism, not only for drugs, money laundering, tax evasion, but also for terrorists. And since then, the Bush administration has shown fairly convincingly that when we want to, we can stop bank secrecy. But we've chosen only to do it for terrorism and for North Korea. Bank secrecy has continued. We now know, what I felt at the time, it's not difficult to stop bank secrecy, to stop these secret bank accounts. All that the United States would have to say is that no American bank can do business with any bank that operates in a jurisdiction that doesn't subscribe to these basic transparency codes. These basic codes of conduct that we say are the minimal codes of conduct for appropriate banking behavior. If they can't deal with the United States and the other G7 countries, they won't be able to function as banks. And their viability will be greatly undermined. And so it's clear to me that we could shut down this bank secrecy if we wanted. So the only question, I mean, why don't we want to? Well, I say we probably know why we don't. The real question is how to change the policy, at least the way my perspective is, how do we change how do we do something about this problem, which I think costs all of our society in so many ways so much and benefits so few. And I think this is one of the areas where civil society, some kind of activism, will be necessary if we are going to attack this issue.
That activism is being organized by the Tax Justice Network USA, working to end tax evasion by the big corporations and the very rich. Look at the website, taxjustice-usa.org, to find out how you can get involved.